Hello, friends. Today, what I'm going to speak is on biases, which generally communal biases. I will be speaking on communal biases, with reference, with example, based on what I know about as a Hindu. I know. The point why I raised is because I generally see where I was in the US for 4 years, so I could make out an aura that let's say for example World War II happened, and we know that many Jews were massacred, which is a very bad thing. Killing or any violence is a very bad thing. But the environment was, what I saw in the US was like it's like. Uh, might it's true also, but let's say, for example, biases used to happen before the World War and against the Jews, and they were persecuted. But then the question comes, then a sort of environment is created, like words like anti-Semite uh, has been created, where it's a sort of shield only to the Jews, as if the biases only happens to the Jews, and Jews don't have any biases towards the other communities or other people, which I am not agreeable with. Because I personally believe, yes, obviously, yes, if violence did have happened during World War II against the Jews, yes, biases were there, which led to those Holocaust, and which is a very sad thing. But that does not mean, because what I am speaking is based on what I am experiencing in the world, that only biases is happening against one community and not against those people are not having biases towards the other community, which I disagree totally, because obviously I am not a Jew, or I am not a Muslim, or I am not a Christian, or I am a Hindu. So I can point that what are the biases which we Hindus, I had experiences about others, like what biases we had about others, which can lead to very dangerous situation. But then to see if Muslims have the same amount of biases towards the Hindus, I will have to be born and brought up in the environment of an Islamic environment, where I can judge if, as a Muslim community, we also have biases towards the Hindus or Christians, something like that. Because now what I see is words like anti-Semitism, the Islamic phobia is prominent, but the other phobias like Hindu phobia, or like where other communities are also under the threat of biases, are not considered, which I feel like not pleasant. I feel biases happen when, like for example, A is there, B is there. We are only saying that B is having biases towards A. A is not having biases towards B. This more sort of thing is not proper, I feel. Because now what I see in the world is, what we are seeing is A and B are there. A is there, B is there, C is there, D is there, and A1 is there, B is there, C is there, D is there, and A2 is there, B is there, C is there, D is there. Now what is happening is, what like words like Islamophobia and anti-Semitic is prominently used, but other phobias are not prominently used. Like what, like if, as I told you, if there is a entity or a group of people called A1, and there is a group of people A2, and then there is a group of people B, C, D. Now what the word is showing is, uh, B has biases towards A1, C has biases towards A1, D has biases towards A1, might be having biases towards A1 or not. And in other scenarios, B is having biases towards A2, C is having biases towards A2, D is might be having biases towards A2. So what happens is, only two like prominent thing is being highlighted. Might be A1 is also having biases towards B. A1 is also having biases towards C. A1 is also having biases towards D. Similarly, A2 also, A2 is also having biases towards B. A2 is also having biases towards C. A2 is also having biases towards D. A2 is also having biases towards A1. A1 is also having biases towards A2. But that is not being shown. What is being highlighted is words like Hindu, Islamic phobia and anti-Semitic only shows that the whole stuff, all the ecosystem is against A1, or the whole the ecosystem is against A2. And whereas A1 and A2 is not having any biases towards other groups in the ecosystem, which I don't agree. Why I will tell you. Reason is, you see, as I told you, since I am Hindu, and for the reason of transparency, I can say what, like for example, obviously everyone knows that in India, Hindus, there are other languages but there. So those biases I won't speak. Other languages, and then many languages are there spoken. Those biases are also there. Plus caste biases are also there. But I will talk about Hindu as a Hindu biases against uh, Muslims. And why it happens might be it's like a threat or something like that. Comparatively, Muslims are more threat to the Hindus. Similarly, might be Muslims are that I will speak later. Or Christian is less threatful to the Hindus. They at least the Hindus feel that Christian is less threatful, and Jew and Parsis are less threatful. Muslims are more threatful. Why I'm telling now I'm telling. Like when I was a kid, I will tell you. But sometimes what happens if I see, sometimes that biases have some connections somewhere, which is very subtle, because there are some events which have happened which leads to those story making biases. Like for example, when I was a kid, like I once thought, like when I was a kid, there was a lot of like I'm from Mangalore, so many people, family members were there, old people. So they narrated a story which at that time I realized that might be I held that bias against the Muslim. So I felt that it might be true. So what that narration was like, we Mangalore is close by to Kerala. So that nearest to what I heard from those old people was that in their native, that is in Mangalore, in olden days, people, if they go to the Muslim area, what the Muslim used to do is they used to kill them and then burn them in, and then may extract oil from the dead. Like for example, if a Hindu goes to Muslim area, he will be killed, and oil will be extracted from his dead body. So that is what the story. And that time when I was a kid, I felt that okay, it's possible, it's like that. So might be there because we used to be in India. There is a bias. So this is my point. And later on, as I grew and I interacted with many Muslims, obviously it's not that every time I found all Muslims good. No, there were many Muslims who were crooked, who gave me wrong ideas, who I could feel were not positive. But then I met some Muslims who were really good people who helped me, including Pakistani people I met. Like when before going to US, I used to feel that obviously I used to feel that Pakistanis are good. But once I went to US, I interacted with many Pakistanis, Muslims. I found some Pakistanis very good, some Pakistanis mischievous. Similarly, in India, I found many Muslims who were mischievous, some Muslims who were good. But now coming to the story of that extraction of oil. So later on, as I went, I realized that it's not like that. Might be ideologically we cannot, like there can be differences. Like for example, there are some aspects of Islam which people that not only Islam way of life. Sometimes I feel that very soothing. I won't lie. Like so, not all aspects. Sometimes I feel confusing and uh, difficult in going back. But sometimes I feel that uh, the some Islamic environments are very pleasing. Like some people or some Islamic environment is very Some are very, very distant. Uh, so this I have noticed. So again, coming to that, as I told you that even if there is a biases, there has to be some events which is leading to those biases. As I told about this story, there's this what they call this cock and bull story which old people used to tell me as a kid about Muslims killing Hindus and then extracting oil from. I think that it was since like I was born in 1970. So this might have happened around somewhere, let's say, the stories might have been started creeping somewhere during the out of uh, what do you call that Mopla riots. Kerala is the closest place to Mangalore, so might be Mopla riots happened in Kerala and Hindus which was closer by to that vicinity that uh, they still created out of fear or something like that. So people to stay away from Muslims. This creation was there. Then there are other like caste also I have heard like my some old people telling me that like for example we have other castes also. So in olden days like these are not biases, these are mischievous acts I think so. But again it's a great like a particular person of other caste if he drinks water from uh, the well of our community. That well would have worms and all this. So these are all the biases. It's not now you will say that might be the Hindus are also only having bias. I don't think so like that because from what I read, like from what I watch YouTube, I think so. Even the Muslims are having biases against the Hindus. It's not just that Hindus are having biases. Like for example, as I told you, I have interacted with many mischievous Muslims. Good Muslims were also there, and then there were mischievous Muslims also. So when I would talk to them, I could read or when I listen to many Pakistani views in YouTube, I could realize I could like see actually they are having biases. For that, I will have to be born and brought up in a Muslim environment to understand that. If, if they are, as a Muslim, I am having biases towards it. But from what I watched, which is at a very some what do you call it, superficial level, I can judge that they also have biases. Uh, like for example, I could see in Muslim channels where Muslims think that Pakistani especially, we are might be less cleaner than purer or cleaner than Muslims. Somewhat crooked, somewhat cunning, and this stuff. Because since we are very unclean, or we might be more crooked, and they are more cleaner. I think so. This biases I could be like again. I don't know the exact if they have biases, but I could judge from the superficial level of conversation with some Muslims and some interaction watching YouTube that there can the superficial attitude of some Muslim. I can make out that they might be having some biases towards the Hindus. Might be they feel that this is more or less. And again, as I told you, gave you the example of Hindu biases of my childhood story, cock and bull story, which I heard, that extraction of oil. It is somewhat related to the some so-called this Mopla rights. I feel might have Mopla rights happened, and that led to this narration and this biases. So again, so there is something or some threat or something like that which leads to such a narration. Now, coming to Muslim biases, which I feel they're not told me as such, but we can make out we are Hindus are less pure or less structured. Might be they feel that since Hindus have very multiple way of seeing things, so it is very difficult to organize many these multiple paths together. So since they are multiple, it's like multiple, so it's not possible to keep structurized, and once it is not structurized means it will be less cleaner, but it's not like that. From what as a Hindu I have seen, we are quite structured in a way, though we are not structured as Muslims, but our structure is a different way, but we ourselves is also structured. Uh, and before I told you that okay, there are some aspects of environments of Muslim also, like some environment get disturbed. So that does not mean I'll have to go into that because it's still not mine. Correct? I would be prefer to be living in my existence and trying to find the structure within myself, then going to something which I might be pleasing to experience, but it's still not mine as a social entity. So I would not prefer, and even if it is a pleasing thing, if I go there, I will be uncomfortable because that is not mine. It's not existing. It's not my part. Now, this is what I feel about Muslim bias and about caste and what bias I do. Now, coming to the other aspect, like as I told you, that environment is being created that like A1 and A2 is only being targeted in the biases, whereas A1 and A2 does not have biases. Like I don't think so. From if you read that conspiracy theory in Islamic world and all those things about Judaism and all those things. So it proves that even Muslims have biases towards those people whom they have a somewhat disturbing experience. Now, Jews also, I think so. I have not interacted. Like I found them very helpful people. I worked with them in talks. I found that, but that does not mean they don't have biases against other communities. It's not just it's two-way because I remember in US like there was a girl who once came to my table. She was Jew and she came to my table and she was a good lady, but she came to my table and out of the blue, like I did not initiate her. She mentioned one more guy who was a Mormon, and referring to him, she told me that Mormons hate Jews. This is what, and that person who was a Mormon, he was comparatively very, he was a sort of fanatical guy from what I have approached, very Abrahamic sort of jingoistic guy who felt very thin that Abrahamic had to club together or something like that. But when this lady told me that referring to him, that these people, Mormons community, they hate Jews. Now I do not know on what basis. So she also has some biases against them. It's not just the white people who are having biases towards them. She also has that bias. If you go for real biases, I'll have to be born in that house and understand what type of talks to do in that. And similarly that, so this is what I feel. So it's why I gave you the example of A1 and A2 is like A1 I'm talking about Jews and A2 I'm talking about Muslims. Environment is being created all over the world, which is not fair. I feel that let's say for example B is Hindu, C is Christian, and D is some other religion. Now A2 is Muslim and A1 is Jews. So what is happening is they are showing that Christians or whites are having biases towards Jews, and as if Jews are not having some sort of biases towards Christians or Muslims. And here it is being shown that Hindus are having biases towards the Muslims, Christians are having biases towards the Muslims, Jews are having biases towards the Muslims. But it does not, they are not saying that Muslims are also having biases towards the Hindus. Muslims are also having biases towards Christians and Jews. So this was the main reason. I did not want to hurt anybody, or I don't think so. It's like something very. It was just a transparent thing which I felt of sharing. And I personally believe, basically, we have to be more clear. Like even if I have some, like as a, like we have to like there should be clarity in our thoughts. We should be sincere in our approach in communal. Like we don't have to convert or make them us or we becoming like them. It's not needed. But there should be transparency. We can maintain our difference. As I told you before also, there are many aspects of Islam. There are many environment, more than aspect. Environment, like some sort of gathering of Islam, I find very pleasing. And there are some gathering of Islam which I feel very disturbing. Now, just because I find that some gathering which I feel pleasing, need not somewhat pleasing than mine also, but still it's not mine. So I need not go there. I can just enjoy that in my mind and gathering and just see, okay, such thing is there. And if it can help me to bring those aspects of those gatherings into my people or my gatherings, it will be beneficial. Similarly, I'm sure the Muslims also, or the Christians also, or the other community also, they will find some gatherings in Hinduism also which is very pleasing. So they should extract that, share it with their gatherings, and make everything like it should be more transparent. As we are more transparent, we are clearer in our things, and we should not promote hate. Hate will come like hate, jealousy. These are things which comes into it. But as more we are transparent, we will be more approachable and to them, and they will be more. Everyone will be more approachable to each other. This is what I wanted to say. So let's hope that we have less biases and we try to. And let's. It's better to be sincere. I feel any thoughts. Like for example, there are many, as I told you, there are many gatherings or thoughts of Islam or Christianity, or I really like it. And there are some thoughts and of my own culture which I feel irritating or disturbing. But at the same time, there are many thoughts or many gatherings about my thing which I'm feeling very pleased. Okay. So these are all sharing and all those things. And our intention should not be like showing jingoism or showing like let's be transparent. Like okay, this is what I believe, or this is what I understand about let's see what you understand about. So let us be frank, so transparent, and avoid violence. It's better to talk and have clarity about others. And let's keep our heart and mind very fresh. And even it does it not that easy. Biases do come, selfishness and threats and many qualities make us think like that. But we should come closer to more purity and all those things. So as we more move the environment will be a bit relaxing, and this will help everyone to live in mutual understanding. That's what I wanted to talk. Thank you very much.